All right, welcome everyone. So I'm making this video. The point of this video is to show an integration, to show a stacking process for Seestar files. You can obviously use it for any files, but I've been working with Seestar files and I've been in and out of the Seestar community. And before I go any further, I want to say this is not my stacking procedure. I got this from a user, and I really don't want to butcher his name. I'm not sure how he pronounces it in his country. I've had a lot of experience globally with many people, different people. If I were to pronounce his name, I don't know if the J is silent. I would just say Andre, but I'm not 100% sure how it's pronounced in his country. But anyway, I will put in the comments or the notes from this video who the user is. I give him 100% credit. He's been super helpful through messages on Facebook. He's taught me a lot of things I had no idea about. He's done a lot of experimentation and put a lot of time and effort into making his images the best they can possibly be. He's also in a nice Bordeaux, I believe Bordeaux 3, Bordeaux 3 4-ish. So he's been able to come out with a lot of really amazing images with nice dark skies. And he just has put a lot of time and effort into making his images the best they can be. And he's a very humble guy, so I give him all the credit in the world. Another user mapped this out text-wise for us to see how it's done. And then I'm just taking it the next evolution further by turning this into a video, because I really do believe this should be the go-to way to stack with Seestar files, Seestar subs at this point. Now I'm not going to be arrogant. If people know a better way, myself, even the user who came up with this, I think I just need to call him Andre at this point. I don't want to have nothing to refer to. But if your name's wrong, I apologize. But this user, Andre, he would be happy to hear other ways to make the images better. He's just like I am, passionate about learning how to make the images as best as possible. None of us have egos. That's why we're sharing this. We just want to see the best of your images, the best of our images. So anyway, with all that aside, the last thing I want to say is I'm not a YouTube streamer or anything like that. I'm just using the audio from my phone and a screen record. If things do not go perfectly, please don't hold it against me. This is literally my first time doing a real video like this. I've done other videos, but nothing like this with a screen record. So let's get into it. How this is different than the way that most of you probably stack is you probably go into the script and the batch processing, weighted batch pre-processing, and you probably run everything from weighted batch pre-processing. And that is one way to do it, I find, and I know for a fact it takes way longer. Probably some of you are frustrated with how long it can take. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now, that it really is a longer way to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not the best. There's no benefit to the longer time it takes on the quality output. So I really don't recommend doing it that way, and I will never do it that way again because it just takes too long. So let me show you the changes we're going to make to the weighted batch pre-processing. As you can see here, I haven't added anything yet. I just wanted to show you basically this area here. The only things we're going to be doing are the subframe weighting, the image registration, the astrometric solution, the local normalization, and we're going to deselect image integration. We're not going to be doing that through weighted batch pre-processing. Okay, that's the first thing you should be aware of. The second thing you should be aware of is definitely have your cache purged, and select here configure WBPP for maximum speed or quality. We definitely want to apply maximum quality, no compromises, because that's what we're all about. So I'm just gonna use a file that I've just done recently and I've already completed to give you to speed up the video, number one, and to have me not have to learn how to stop and start and all those fun things. And the other reason I'm doing that is because I can show you the outcome, and also I can tell you now the speed it took. This first step that we're gonna do probably took my computer about an hour and 40 minutes, I would say. My computer, by the way, is a very old processor. I bought this computer used for, I don't know, maybe came out to like $300 US. It's a Ryzen 7, I don't remember offhand, Ryzen 7, but a low CPU model, older generation. It has 8 cores, 16 threads, and it's only got 16 gigabytes of RAM. So keep that in mind. I'm just giving you that as a baseline for to gauge the speed by. But obviously newer computers will be much faster. I hope I'm not babbling too much. Anyway, so the first step took me about an hour and a half or so. The integration actually goes very quickly. Normally the integration was the longest part on weighted batch preprocessing, and then the Drizzle part would be the next part that took the longest. But actually with this on my computer, the integration goes really quickly. I didn't time it. The second and third steps don't really have a timer that I know of where it's easy to tell how long it took, but I would say it took no more than 20 or 30 minutes to do the image integration. The Drizzle, however, that's the part that takes the longest for me. I'll show you a way to speed up the Drizzle a little bit, but I did 2 times Drizzle with this, and it took 6.5 hours for 1,200 images at 2 times Drizzle. So when I do 3 times Drizzle, I've looked at, and 2,000 subs, I've looked at like 10, 11, 13 hours for Drizzle. So I have not been able to speed that up, but the Drizzle is absolutely worth it. So I'm not saying this is a fast process by any means, but I feel like this process is the best way, time versus results. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna add the lights like we normally do. Let me get out of this and show you the original. You can see I've already had this completed, but basically I would just be adding my fish on the platter nebula. This is actually what Seestar called it. I've heard it called the Tulip Nebula. I've heard it called the Fish on the Platter Nebula. But this is Seestar's name when I took the imaging. This I put in, but these names are actually what it came up with. But it's SH2-101. So we're gonna go in here. As you can see, this is I think 1,220 subs. They are all 10-second subs, except for the very last one ended up being 20 seconds probably. I tried it and I got too many failures, so I went back to 10-second subs. But anyway, I'm going to put them all in. I don't think there's any real reason to leave that out. So I'm going to add all of these. And I have the calibration exposure tolerance at 10, so it will include that 20-second sub together with the 10-second sub to just come up with one file, one integration, one set of integration files. Some of you have asked in the past how to do this. It's here with calibration exposure tolerance. You want to do that here, And if you go to calibration, you can see the other thing you want to check here is that this is VNG. I don't know what this means, but I'm just following these written directions and instructions from Andre. So you want to have this here. Post calibration, also exposure 10, and one file, and that's pretty much it. So you're going to have all set like this. Remember, again, just to recap, you don't want to do image integration. Leave this blank. Okay, then you're going to hit run and let it go through its thing just like it normally would. And once it's finished, I'll show you what you'll end up with. So once it's done, you're going to end up with the files in your output folder, whatever you designated as your output folder. Here, mine was designated here, fish on the platter. And you're going to have your normal debayered, logs, master, registered. There's nothing going to be really usable in master because you haven't done the image integration. You're just going to have your debayered and your registered, and the most important is this register folder here, which we're going to be using. So if I go back into Pixinsight here, let me make sure that my phone's still recording. Yeah, we're good. Once we go back into Pixinsight here, we're going to go into processes. This is a process, and the process is called image integration. So right here, image integration. Also, if you just go through it with the grouped ones, image integration, you're going to see the one we're going to use after Drizzle integration. We're going to use image integration first. So we're going to open up image integration, and I'm going to clear this. So the way image integration works is you're going to be adding files. The first step is to add the normal, non-normalized, I guess these are the debayered registered files. You're going to add those first. So you want to go to where your output folder is. Output folder, same thing we were just looking at recently. And we're going to go into our registered file and click on the light bin. The ones we need are going to automatically pop up. You don't have to change anything. These are all the files we're going to be including, not this folder, but all these files. So I'm just going to go down, select them all, and I'm going to add these. And then I'm going to add normalization files, local normalization files. And again, the file you need is going to pop up automatically. And since we're in the folder, we don't have to change it anymore. So we're still in this registered folder. We're going to add these files. Put them in there. And then the last step, so we added registered, local normalization. Now we're going to add the Drizzle files. And again, they're going to pop up. The only ones that are there are the ones we need. You don't have to touch anything with them. Just select what you see. And I'm going to open these. Now there's a couple other things we need to check here. Depending on how many files you have, Pixinsight might hiccup a little bit and everything looks frozen, but just wait and give it a second to add the files. You definitely, you want to generate an integrated image. I'll show you why. If you get to this step for the reason for doing this and decide you don't need it, it's okay, but I recommend doing it for the Drizzle step. You definitely have to generate Drizzle data. This you can just keep the same. All of these you don't have to touch, but you do want to change these two sections. Normalization, you want to do additive with scaling, and you want to change the weights, the weighting method to PSF scale SNR. Okay, so these two things are important to change. Once you do that, you're just going to hit the apply global and let it do its thing. And like I said, this was super fast for me. I mean, not super fast, but 30 minutes compared to times it's taken 6 or 7 hours. To me, this is fast. Okay, so you click on that, and then you're all set. Now, once this finishes running, you are going to be left with this integration file. Let me delete this. you're going to be left with this integration file, and you're also going to be left with another file that I forgot to save, which shows you the outcome of the stack like you've seen in the past, where it will show you if there's field rotation. You'll have those green areas where there was field rotation and all the subs stacked and slanted in there. You'll have that file as well. So now you've got the image integration. If you want, you can save this. This is non-drizzled. You can save it. I don't really use non-drizzled results for processing. So in the end, I'm not going to save this now. That's another thing you should be aware of. Both this integration process and Drizzle process, they don't autosave. So if something happens to your computer, it happened to me one time. My computer did a restart at 2 a.m. For automatic updates, and I lost a Drizzle result because of it. So just keep that in mind. It does not auto-save these. You have to save them at the end of the process. So anyway, you're left with your integration, and now you want to do the next process, which is going to be, again, image integration. Now we're going to do Drizzle integration. And I'm going to clear this. So now we're in Drizzle integration, and the process is pretty similar here. We're going to do the same add file method. The ones you want to add are automatically selected, and we're already in this folder, so we don't really have to change anything. We're just going to add these files, and we're going to add the normalization files. So there's no Drizzle file to add. Those files that we're adding first are actually the Drizzle prepared ones. We're going to add these local normalization, and that's it. So just add files, add local normalization files, add what it gives you. And this is where you start with your Drizzle options. Now, I cannot remember the name of the user. I believe his name was Brent. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Maybe Brent was the one who put this in text form. He put down a handy little table about how much time versus Drizzle that he does, how much time imaging versus Drizzle that he does. I pretty much look at it and just decide what I want to do based on how much quality I want it to be. I guess the time on this image was something like 3.5 hours, and I just decided that something like this, I'm not actually super interested in making it the best it could possibly be. I just kind of want to have a result. I actually want to capture more subs on this, so I will do more of this in the future. So for this one, I just did 2 times Drizzle. That's what scale 2 is here. And when I do 2 times Drizzle, I usually drop shrink to 0.8. If you want to do 3 times Drizzle, I recommend drop shrinking to 0.7. But those are the 2 that I choose. Either 2 times Drizzle 0.8, 3 times Drizzle 0.7, and this is your own decision to make based on how much time you want to wait for it to finish, how interested you are at the results. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen my Crescent Nebula results, but this is probably the image I'm most proud of, and I'm not saying this to brag, but this is the one that I did 3 times Drizzle on because I wanted to make sure that it turned out the best it could possibly be, because I put a lot of time into this image, and even cropped, it's still pretty nice and pretty detailed when you look in. So I'm pretty happy with this one. This is the one I spent a lot of time drizzling. So, and I had a lot of subs and a lot of 20-second subs on this. So anyway, back to Pixinsight. So your decisions to make here. Another decision you have to make is, I think the person on Facebook that put this into text form, he suggested Gaussian. And I talked to Andre, and he's been doing var shape 3. I've been using that. I don't know the difference. I haven't had enough experience doing both. I just honestly trust whatever Andre says, because he's the the one doing a lot of time and effort experimenting with this. So I've just been doing var shape 3. When I learned about this Drizzle integration, the tutorial I watched said these were all different mathematical ways to decide how it's applied. But Gaussian, var shape 3, I haven't noticed a time difference between either. So you can just pick one, but don't do square or circular. I was doing circular in the past, and when you do circular, you're not able to change the grid size, and this makes a huge difference on the image. So definitely pick either Gaussian or var or one of these. Let's just do Gaussian like Brent did in the written form. You want to enable CFA, and this is where you can change the grid size. I've been doing 48, like I said. Well, I haven't told you yet, but the Drizzle normally takes, depending on the size, 20 seconds per sub. So that's like 3 subs a minute. I don't know how fast your computer is, but if you're really worried about it taking too much time because you have an older computer, you can knock this down to 32 or 16. But to me, 48 looks wonderful, so I just keep it at 48 and just suck up the fact that I'm going to have to wait for it. I let it run overnight or while I'm at work. Anyway, so this is at 48. All this stuff I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to touch any of these things. You don't have to touch anything here. And this is a thing that's not in the written description on Facebook of how to do this. So this I'm going to add here. You can choose region of interest. You can basically crop this like you would once the image is completed and you're about to process it. We usually crop out the field rotation. This was done in EQ mode, so I don't have any field rotation, but if I did, I could crop it out. But basically, I don't really need this whole image anyway, and it will speed up Drizzle if you just drizzle what you want. So I'm going to hit Alt-N to make a preview, and I'm just going to kind of, pick the main area to drizzle here rather than just having no region of interest and drizzling the whole image. It's not really necessary, and it does shave off some time. So I think this is important. My warning here is that it's only going to drizzle what you preview here. It's going to create an image this size. It's not going to only drizzle this area and give you a normal size image. The image is going to be cropped here, and I'll show you that later. So don't crop it too tight, because that can affect things like your SPCC and things like that. So I wouldn't crop it too tight. You need enough stars to be able to image solve and things like that. So but you could crop tighter if you want. I've cropped tighter when I've had bad field rotation. So just you can crop it tighter. So you have the preview here, and you're just going to drag it to the region of interest. Make sure it gets added in here. Okay. And then you're just going to hit the apply global, and it's going to go through the whole process. Each file, you're going to see a percentage that it completes. And you can, if you're really interested on how long it will take, you can just time one of the drizzled files and then use math to figure out how long the rest of them are going to take. But anyway, once this is done, you are going to end up now, you're still going to have this up here because you didn't close it. So you're still going to have your image integration. Now you're going to have a drizzle integration. So as you can see, this is a more cropped version of the results of this, of the original image integration. This is the slightly cropped drizzle integration result. And I want to just show you, just looking at these side to side, you can see how much of an effect drizzle makes on the image. Obviously this is very noisy. I haven't done any processing to it, but even with the way it is now and the noise, okay, this is not zoomed out the same level yet. Let's back out. So this is pretty much zoomed the next level. You can see there's more detail to the shadow in this Tulip Nebula, the vein here. I call it a vein because it's like a flower, but anyway, the shadows from the nebulosity swirling around it, the gases swirling around. You can see the result is much better. Even here, the pixels are not as ugly. They've been drizzled, and they're much neater and tighter and more data. The file's going to be larger. It's going to be able to zoom in once you're completed more. There's going to be all different benefits to Drizzle. So it really makes a huge difference. And this is just Drizzle 2. Actually, after I saw this, I wanted to see what Drizzle 3 would look like. So someday I will do Drizzle 3 on this one when I collect more subs. But I just thought this would be a good example for everyone to see what a big difference it makes on the image. Not so much zoomed out, but most certainly zoomed in. So anyway, make sure you save this. Save it right away, and then you can just start processing it. I guess I'll show you my final result. This was just my first try at it, and I didn't mess around with it too much. I didn't try to get the background less red and show the image, but this is just, you know, pretty much my result after I processed myself for the first time without really getting it exactly the way I want. I'll end up doing a Hubble version, and I'll probably tweak this. I always just process the first time my normal way to learn, to see what I liked about it and what I didn't like, and then I'll go back and do it a second time, using what I've learned the first time to change the image. So I will most certainly go back and adjust this, but this is my outcome as of this point for my first try. So anyway, I really hope this video was helpful, and I hope I wasn't too annoying or blabbered too much. And I hope I covered everything. If you have any questions, hit me up. You can ask Andre. I'm going to tag him in the video and put him down. And you can ask anybody else who's been using this. The word's starting to get out about it. And I just wanted to share this with the community because I really feel strongly that this is the best way to do it. And again, 100% thanks to, 100% credit and thanks to Andre, who's just done a fabulous job getting these methods out into the community for people to see and for people to get a look at. And you know, he could easily keep them to himself and come out with the best images and, you know, share little bits of information here, but he's super helpful, and he's always had time to answer my questions, and hopefully he doesn't get too busy because of this, but certainly I want to say big thanks to him. So, and everybody else, that's who the credit really should be going to. So you guys can thank me in the comments for doing this video, but don't thank me for this process because it's not mine. But I'll live and die by it. I love it. Anyway, thanks guys. I hope you get lots of chances this summer to use or summer if it's your summer, or winter if it's your winter. Hope you get lots of chances to use Seestar, and you get lots of great images, and I look forward to seeing them all on Facebook. Thanks everyone. Clear skies to you, and happy processing. Cheers.